or land use requests. Comments may be limited. We are going to limit those comments to 3 minutes. I'd ask that council please refrain from asking questions or responding until after the speaker's 3 minutes are up.
Madam Mayor, members of council, Chad Jacobs from the City Attorney's Office. Just a reminder that as you listen to public comment, as the mayor just suggested, it's better to let people go through their 3 minutes before asking questions or responding, as well as if they ask questions of you, you're not required to respond. This is a chance for public input, but it's not necessarily an opportunity for them to receive information back from the city.
We have an interested citizen. I'm ready to begin your time now.
3 minutes, shouldn't take that long. Justin Dryden, 3975 10th Street. Apart from looking at contracting law enforcement, I would like to know what steps the council and mayor are taking to protect our town while we are so understaffed with police officers. 2 police officers on staff to cover the city is way too few. It's been, 6 months now that we've been so understaffed? I want to know what you guys are doing to protect us. That's it. That's it. That's my question.
So do you think we should hire another officer or have Marion County supply us with another officer?
I'm not an expert in the matter. I'm looking to the leadership within the city to protect the citizens of the city.
Okay, what would you prefer us to do? Because we work for you and we are not experts either.
I would like to see more police officers on staff for better coverage. And these 2 guys are being worked to death out there covering the whole city by themselves. What are you guys looking to do in the meantime until you figure out what we're gonna do in the long term to protect us?
I think as those officers can attest, we've been working really hard to get a chief in place. And that reflects in the minutes from other council meetings.
I did see that we put in January, December, we decided on a chief to hire. What happened with that?
I wasn't here in December.
We had decided to hire a chief, and I think while Madam Mayor was here, we had discussed that. And then I believe it was brought to her attention, the matters of going with the county, and so that was placed on hold because of that.
Okay.
So after this decision is made, hopefully we will move forward very quickly with whatever decision is made at that point.
Okay.
Just for the record, that was April 5th or 6th that was brought to my attention. So we've been working on it up to this point.
And we did try to hire a chief as a temporary chief through the linebacker program, and he turned out not to be suitable. So that's why we went with Marion County in the interim to make sure that we had some sort of management in place.
It wasn't meant, when we decided to go with Marion County, it was never meant to be Marion County come in.
Thank you.
Hi, Jason Telesti, 2224 C Street.
Okay, so 3 minutes.
Okay. No worries, I just got one question too. I also I realize that the June 22nd meeting is for the discussion for the police, city police versus county. And part of the reason for that was to wait till after the budget meeting on June 1st. Can I ask why we're waiting so long to June, why we can't have that meeting?
Well, the budget has been approved, but what is the terminology? We haven't ratified it or whatever. Adopted.
And there's no reason why that needed to be adopted before we had that meeting. That decision was made by 3 of the councilors and not 2 of the councilors. For the record.
All right, thank you.
You ready?
Yes.
Crystal Rostisil, 34274 Fourth Street. I was just curious, kind of going off of his question about the time frame, that if all of the avenues were gonna be presented on the June 22nd meeting, or just the Marion County one?
Apparently, the officers were told that they would also be able to make a presentation at that meeting as well. So both Marion County and Hubbard Police will at that time be making a presentation.
So
Is
those
that what
are
you're
only
asking?
two options?
I believe, to the best of my knowledge, that those are the only two options that we've heard.
So has anybody spoken to Aurora or Donald?
As a matter of fact, I have spoken to Aurora and Donald, and the suggestion has been made that when we discuss this issue on the 22nd, that we discuss possibly coming together with our three cities and also covering North Marion School District, but that is, no discussions have happened beyond those suggestions.
So will we be able to have all of that information by the June 22nd before the decision is made?
There's no decisions being made on June 22nd.
So when is it slated to be made?
I don't have that information, but I can assure you that no decisions will be made on June 22nd. We won't
So-
have all the information because there will just be presentations made on that day, so it would be impossible for us to have all the information needed on June 22nd to even be able to make a decision. So that's just, on that day is just an information gathering day.
So when is the vote?
This is news to me, and I'm not sure who gave you that information,
So
that it
you're
would not
saying
be.
that on the two, it wasn't my understanding that on the date that the two presentations would, that we were gonna make a decision on who.
I think any council member could make a motion for any decision.
Oh, okay.
So is this
That wasn't
currently
my
just going to be a
understanding.
council decision and not taken to the voters?
That is my understanding.
That was not my understanding.
It's from my perspective,
Thank you,
it's a
noted.
business decision. And you can bring it to the voters, you can, get down to two chief polices are chief police, sorry. And are we gonna bring that to the voters too? I mean, where does it end? I mean, if you wanna bring it to the voters, then somebody can make a motion and we can go through that. But unless somebody does that, no, we wouldn't take this to the voters.
It's not typically a voter decision, is I think what he's trying to say.
C Street. My concern is still the 22nd, so far out. We're having two officers working the city. And why wait so long? And then if we decide to go with the police department, then we have to have the hiring of the chief, which is gonna take a while. We're looking way into the summer. Why June 22nd?
It's actually gonna be here a lot sooner than you think.
It's an open
Almost
month away,
7
and
months
that
into
doesn't-
this.
No, we're not 7 months into this. We just got word from, that Marion County might be able to offer us something, a proposal or whatever, like last month.
When did the first chief retire?
I'd like to ask that you not interrupt. Thank you.
Who came up with the 22nd? Why not do this a week from now? You know, why wait? Because if we do go with it, you have applicants sitting there that want the chief's position, and they might go away.
I believe part of the decision, I know that when I spoke with peers, part of the recommendation was to make sure that it had nothing to do with budget, to make it a clean decision. Part of it had to do with different people being out of town that need to be at this meeting in order to present. So that is where the June 22nd
So
came
what peers
from.
did you talk to, since you didn't talk to two of the city councilors?
I'm not talking about peers, counselors, I'm talking about other
Oh,
mayors.
so other people made the decision on what you should do.
I never made a decision.
Okay.
Who are we waiting for that can't be here now?
I'm not going to answer that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Misty Lee, 2204 C Street. I was mayor before. When I was mayor, I had a meeting every week because we had our police chief retire, we had our city recorder retire, and you can have a meeting anytime you like. You just have to advertise it, which the staff knows. So I think that citizens are expressing concern. We've been without a chief since October. So this is your responsibility as the city council to step up and have a meeting so you can get input. If I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying you're going to be making a decision. And like Mrs. Telesti just said, this will then take another 6 months to find a chief. So I would think it would behoove you to have people looking, have this league looking for candidates, have that in place, have the mayor and county. They can come up with a proposal. They're very good at it. They're very big. They have people that can do that. So that would be my advice. I don't want to hear any comments.
They already, those things are in place.
She just said you did.
We are actively searching for a chief. We have applicants. We have to coordinate schedules with other people besides just us. Is there any other comment?
Van Dyke, 3732 Oak Ridge. I want to know ultimately whose decision it is to make the decision. I know you said that typically it's not a decision for the voters, but who's to say that it's your guys' decision
I
instead of
guess,
ours?
as far as I can, well, I guess Chad can
So,
answer.
do you want me to answer that? So the charter vests authority with the council to make that decision. So when the voters adopted the charter, they gave authority to the city council to make those decisions on behalf of the city.
So 5 people are going to make the decision on law enforcement coverage for all of us?
That's the way representative government works. I mean, that's the charter that the voters enacted to give the power to the council to do that.
I also want to note that the meeting, June 22nd, is over a month away. That seems unacceptable, given the timelines.
But there can be, Chad, for my clarification, there can be, as the same that we did with the marijuana, it can go out to the voters if the council just makes that decision.
The council can certainly refer something to the voters if it chooses to do so.
And the soonest ballot that could be on is probably, what, September? November.
Would that halt the process for hiring a chief and other officers, or would we just continue to stand still until that special election or election?
How could we proceed without knowing what the will of the voters is?
I understand that, but if the decision is made to go to the voters on the decision, would we move forward in looking at hiring a chief, or would we just hold off until the decision is made by the
You mean
voters?
like a temporary chief?
What have
Come
you,
here.
temporary or permanent?
We have,
Sir,
we have a temporary
Can you
chief.
please come up to the stand if you're going to address council?
Oh, that was my last question about the chief, and he was working on answering it.
Yes, so Chief Adcock is our chief right now. And as far as I know, will continue to be our chief until we find a permanent replacement.
Okay.
Now, we could, ask Marion County if they're willing to lend us some more officers and pay for them as well. And that's our other option. Now, from my perspective as a manager, I would want to be able to say who I'm gonna hire. So us hiring, we could potentially hire additional officers, but I would think that the incoming chief would wanna have a say in that.
I believe that was the consensus of council in our previous meetings, is that that decision should be made by the chief.
At which point we thought we were hiring an actual chief. That consensus was made when the decision was made that we would be hiring a chief. At that point, the decision was made that the chief would be hiring the officers. The situation that we're talking about now is not that situation. So it's really if we were hiring an actual chief, then he would be responsible for that, but if something happens and this does go to the voters and we have to wait until November, then there would be a real possibility that maybe we would go ahead and get another officer from Marion County.
Charles Ross to sell 34274 4th Street. First, I want to thank each of you guys for taking your time to run, get elected to your positions. I do implore you, though, to please work as a team. Set aside your differences or your opinions or your biases and figure out what's best for not the short term, but the long term for the city. As a citizen, I'm extremely concerned about contracting our services out. I'd rather keep it local. I maybe don't disagree or agree with everything the police officers do, but I do rest a lot easier knowing that we do have local coverage here. At the same time, I didn't know we weren't 24/7 covered, and I'm sure a lot of people did until it was posted on Facebook, so that should be interesting to know now. But, you know, just, it's a peace of mind knowing that the officers are here and can respond quickly. And I've seen from Donald and Aurora, I don't see positive outcomes. We're not Wilsonville when we're referred to, look how great Wilsonville's turned out. We don't have the resources and we never will. Now maybe, and I'm hoping you guys can do this, and I'm advocating for it, is see what we can do with our sister cities to come up with some sort of a North Marion Council or something that can figure out a way to keep local communities together, especially North Marion. We all go to the same school, we're all part of the same, I guess, school budget, whatever it might be. So my only question to you is please, on the 22nd, listen to all the options, and if, even better, I guess if I have a question is, who would lead up a third option, as in to seeking out alternatives with Aurora and Donald in a partnership? Is anyone gonna follow up on that?
I have asked the mayors to come and present their ideas, just so that council does have those options and they can hear those.
And I know, city attorney, I know that we've voted on charters, et cetera. I also know that those can be changed. So I strongly, even though it is empowered to them, to make a decision like that, you have 3,000, 4,000 people in this community, and make sure you've got all your bases covered. I know if it gets voted by the council, I will see what we can do to escalate to overturn the petition. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah, it's my understanding that, that former Chief Dryden did present at one point to Aurora to take over their policing as well, but they decided to go with Marion County. And Donald, if you don't know, is, they don't have money. We get about $4 per $1,000 of assessed value per home in Hubbard, and Aurora gets about $2 per assessed value. Donald gets 88 cents. There's no money there. So if we were to do something like that, we would have to basically agree to fund them.
So just jumping in, that's where you guys as a council, or them as a council, put a bond on the budgets for all three cities. Let all three cities decide if they want to combine it. See what we can do then to combine that revenue. Think outside the box. Don't think, well, they're poor, they can't afford, yeah, they can't afford coverage now. But maybe their limited resources combined with ours is better than what they've got now. And they might be more interested after what they've been through in terms of their lack of police department. Same thing could be for Aurora. Things change.
Yeah, they expressed to me that they can only afford to pay for 20 hours a month.
20 hours is better than nothing. And if that can help, and we just have the officer drive over there, Rockford, can't forget it, Butteville as well. I always forget. But, you know, just think outside the box. And don't be limited on, this is what they've got now. The chances are, if they want to vote on it, put it to them, let them combine in. Let them vote on another tax to raise it to our levels. Make it an equal share across all three. Maybe we don't have to pay as much, maybe they pick up more, maybe Aurora picks up more. That's what you guys are supposed to be figuring out. And as a council, and as the mayor, it's not easy. I know it's not easy, and you've got a lot of citizens here that have a very strong opinion, one way or another. So you guys get to balance that, and just good luck. Just please, set your vision on what you want to go long-term for the city and the community that we're in, and that's just the North Marion community. That's all.
Thank you very much.
I'm Michelle Luna, 2539 A Street. I just have a question. I guess I wasn't at the meeting where the county was proposed. I'm just wondering what was the reasoning behind the proposal? I felt like we were doing fine here in the city with our budget, obviously, and the current state we were in. So what made this whole thing come about? What was this about in the first place? I guess you don't have to answer that, but that's my biggest question is why? We were fine. We're fine now. Why? Why are we messing with
It's
it?
my understanding that we were approached by Marion County. And I don't know if you had a chance to look at the budget. This is my first year actually looking at the budget, and there are some red flags there for me. We are estimated to take in next year $790,000 in property taxes. The budget for the police department next year exceeds that. So we would require 100% and even more of property taxes to pay for the police department.
Okay, but I was here at the budget meeting, and I did see the numbers for the budget. And the city's sitting pretty well with the budget, regardless of how much the police department takes. In my opinion, that money is well worth my safety, the safety of my family and my community. So I just want you to look at that. We were fine. We are fine. Why are we panicking? I don't understand. We've got new income coming in from the new homes.
That is, I do need to go on record to say that that's temporary. That is just a for now income.
Sure.
That is not an extended.
Sure. Sure, I get it, but values are going up until we implement the county and then they'll go back. However, I just need an answer, and I don't know that I really got a clear answer of why we're looking at it.
I think, as the counselor said, they came to us, and I would also like to add on my behalf, I think that from what I have heard happen, this supposed number that got out, I'm not exactly sure how this was calculated since there never was a proposal put forward. With everything that happens and with the proposal and with additions, you don't even exactly know how much their proposal is gonna be. So you don't know if their proposal is gonna be more than what we're paying right now. So for us to sit back and say, well, as you're saying, it's not a budget issue, and you're saying it is a budget issue, but.
I didn't see it on the budget as a budget issue.
Well, I know you didn't, but.
I did not see it, so that's why I'm asking, where is that coming from? Am I missing something on the budget that wasn't, it was balanced as far as I saw. And maybe I didn't see something that I missed, but I get what you're saying, it's a lot of money. But my safety and my community's safety and my family's safety is worth that money. And that's exactly all there is to it. And I hope you feel the same. You have a family, community here,
I do.
so I hope you all feel that way. So please take a second look at that. It's not, I don't think it's gonna be what you expect it to be if we go county.
What do you think it's going to be?
Longer wait times,
Why would
non-response times.
Why would you say that?
Just experience. I lived in the country my whole life. I've lived out in Bradford. I grew up out there. County never came, not unless somebody was dying or somebody was being beat up. They never came. They don't care unless you're dying. They don't have the resources to cover it. They're just in our area alone, Painter Loop out there, it's county.